Hey, what's going on? We're here with another guide for the Season of Risk and Ruin, covering hard and dangerous maps. For each stage, I'll go through each section of the map, starting from the top routes, then working my way down to the bottom routes, and if I haven't covered my preferred path by that time I'm through each set, I'll share it before moving on to the next section. Starting off here, you'll just go ahead and work your way to the right, taking care to avoid the spikes, and then make sure that you're not hitting any walls as you're moving forward. On the floating platforms, you'll go ahead and quick dash, and just continue to take care of avoiding the spikes and hit the portals to stay at the top. After this portal, you'll see that you have to go through some spikes there to take a little bit of damage, but generally not a big issue. You can just continue to the end. This route, you basically start out the same, but instead of taking that last portal and going through the spikes, you'll go ahead and grab the card and then drop down, taking care to avoid the spikes and grabbing the bags of fish along the way, and then proceeding to the end of the stage. Here you'll go ahead and go down when you see the arrow pointing towards the rope at the bottom, and same as in the last route, you'll just take care to avoid the spikes and collect the bags of fish, and then just proceed right to the end. Starting off, you'll notice you need to go downhill and you'll see a floating platform right away. You'll use that to stay towards the top and just take the portals as you continue to stay up there. You will need to take a little bit of damage, and this route generally is preferred. While it does yield a good amount of fish, I do have a little bit of an issue of how you can end up falling due to blind, so I tend to prefer a different route. But this is a good route if you're trying to get fish. The next route is pretty similar to the top route, but instead of taking that top portal, you'll go ahead and take the second set of portals that you see below you on that floating platform. This route's a little trickier to navigate. You can get a card out of it, generally not worth it in terms of fish, and you increase the risk of falling down and pitting, so I generally don't prefer it. The bottom route was my preferred route. I like to just make sure that I'm dodging the spikes and just getting as many of the fish as I can, and then from there I'll go ahead and just jump over the pit. If I have a floating character, I'll just go ahead and float. Triple jump works too. If you're not comfortable with that, you can land on the middle platform, and then you just take care not to hit all the spikes on the way up, get as many fish as you can, and then just finish the stage. Dark Prison is broken up in the first portion into 3 different levels. So the top one is considered 1, middle level is considered 2, and bottom level is often referred to as 3. So these first 3 routes that I'll show will just give you an overview or a preview of what's in each, and then I'll give my ideal route. As you can see, staying on the bottom is considered probably the safest, but also generally not worth it in terms of fish or speed, so picking a different route, pretty much any other route, is generally better. So for my preferred route, I generally like to stay towards the top, and then for the second portal, I'll actually take 2, and then I'll go back up to 1, and I generally just stay up there. So it's basically 1, 2, and then 1 the rest of the way. There is 1, and we'll see in just a moment here. So after you grab this lightning shield, you'll take 1, but you'll drop down to 2. And that'll get you a little bit more speed and a few more fish. For the second half, my preference is generally to stay towards the top. So you'll see here I'll go up where the big samurai are, trying to take some care to dodge. I do take some damage, not a big deal, it doesn't kill me, but can be devastating and no recovery. You'll see I'll take the top portal up, and then this jump gets a little tricky. I showed that it is possible with the double jump. I grab the cards. That's really the main reason why it's my preferred route, because it gives you a chance to either get some buffs or get some attack or even debuff cards. And then I take the portal going up, stay towards the top. Again, trying to take care to dodge the samurai, take the portals, and then just dash to the end. So the bottom route here is generally considered a bit safer and is a good option if you are concerned about taking damage, especially on no recovery battlefield effect. So you can see here with a little bit of practice you can get through this without really taking any damage at all if you're careful about it. Dashing will increase the likelihood that you'll hit an obstacle. It doesn't mean that you can't do it without dashing. And then here you'll see that there's gaps between the samurais that you can take a moment to quick dash between, and then you just dash to the end when you see the fish. So staying towards the top, you'll grab the 3 bags of fish, and then after the 3rd bag, you'll go under the platform to grab the card, and then you can grab the lightning shield. You'll notice if you stay towards the top, it seems a bit lackluster and arguably pointless to get the shield. This will make a little bit more sense when I go through my ideal route. From there, you just go ahead and make a dash towards the end and get to the gate. Staying towards the bottom here, you'll notice that there's a lot of spikes, and when you hit the first portal, you'll actually end up taking a good amount of damage. This is actually what I was referring to when I was talking about the shield a moment ago for the top route. Same deal as before, you'll go ahead and just make a dash to the right. This route is arguably the fastest out of the 2. My ideal route kind of hits somewhere in the middle. Starting off, you'll take the top route to get the card and the shield, and then dash down to take the portals. And you'll notice here I float to grab the bags of fish above instead of just quick dashing, and then from there I just make a dash to the right. This helps me optimize the amount of fish I'm getting, and then I also manage to get the card and the lightning shield to protect myself from damage. So if it's a no damage battlefield effect, I'm good. Starting off, all you're doing is dodging through the axes that are showing here. Making your way off on the rope, trying not to take damage, and you'll have a double jump towards the end of these axes. Then you go up, and when you take that portal up, you'll notice you'll get targeted by some bamboo. Not a big deal if you're tanky. If you're low on health, you may want to use a weapon skill, and then you'll want to drop after dashing to get that bottom portal. That'll take you up and keep you towards the top. And then from here, you just dodge the ravens. You can use your weapon to help protect you against them. Helps you get a few extra fish. After the axes, you'll go ahead and dash under the spikes, and then you'll just quick dash on the floating platforms to kind of stay and dodge the samurai as best you can. Keep grabbing the bag of fish as you continue to quick dash your way through the platforms, and then you'll have more samurai swinging at you with their axes, and then you get to the same raven section. The main difference between this route and the last one is staying towards the bottom, and this is just generally considered the safest route between the other two and this one. grab the first set of fish here and then take care to double jump and then, or even triple jump and float. And then you'll dash off the ledge and go under the spikes and then jump up again. Grab that first portal there to dash to the right. Take care while quick dashing not to pit. Then you'll take the portal up again and you'll notice the bamboo is targeting you here. This is a risky route. If you don't have a scroll or a tanky build, you probably don't want to take this. And grabbing that card at the end can be kind of tricky. So here you'll notice I don't take the portal to the right. You can do that if you prefer, it's just my preference to keep my speed going. This is a good route to get your ninjutsu up. And then I do drop down to break that bomb balloon. You don't have to do that, it doesn't do more than 2 fish for you. This path is the trickiest. You have to keep in mind that you can't dive too early, otherwise you'll end up pitting. But if you time it right, you can grab the fish on the bottom and it ends up yielding more fish. And then this bottom route here, after that second platform, you have to go under the next floating platform to be able to double jump and then either triple jump or float to grab the portals to take you back up. This part you'll start off navigating through some spiders that drop down. Their order changes when you play, so don't try to memorize this too much. You'll get a general feel for how they drop down as you play this stage more and more. When you start seeing the fruit, you'll want to go for them. And then that portal at the top, if you have a weapon before you go through it, use it right before you touch it. You'll want to drop down from this platform to grab the portal. You see me drop down again and jump back up. I do take some damage, and then you'll see me drop down for this shield, come back up, and that takes me to the portal to the end. This allows me to deal with the axes without having to worry about dodging them. I actually intentionally hit them so that I get a few more fish. And then once the shield's gone, I can just continue running on the rope. I won't take any damage because none of them are low or high enough to hit me. Something to note here, before the portal, if you are low on health, just avoid it and just jump through the spiders. So a little more risky. If you have float, you can go underneath the platforms, and then this looks similar, but dropping down after I grab the coin magnet, dropping down again to grab the portal, and then grabbing the lightning shield, and then the route's pretty much the same from here. This path doesn't take any portals. Basically it's just focused on just quick dashing as best you can to the right. It's a little risky, you can end up hitting if you miss a platform, but this is a good way to help you catch up if you're behind and the other team's got a good lead on you. This route will look and feel the same as the first one that I showed for this section. And the main difference here is when I grab the lightning shield, I just quick dash instead of going back up. And then I just continue the same to the right as I did before. Saves you like maybe a second, half a second at most, but it seems to work well for me. Quick note on Dangerous Dark Prison, it feels very similar between hard and dangerous when you look at it at a glance, but when you start taking the portals in the first half, you'll notice very quickly that they're very different. So practice the routes on hard, and then if you're transitioning to dangerous, make sure you take some time to practice the routes. If you're going back and forth, you might need to take a round or two to get yourself reoriented. It's easy to forget which one you're on if you're in arena and you have both hard and dangerous available and you're going between the two, and if you don't look closely you can end up getting mixed up. So just be careful and look out for the changes between the two maps. Similar to last time, we'll go ahead and just go through the routes. So you'll see me go through 1, the top route, 2, the middle route, and then 3, the bottom route. And then you'll see my ideal path at the end for the first half. One thing I do want to point out is there is a shield at the end of the first one here. So this is generally the fastest route for anyone who doesn't have a scroll or doesn't have a tanky setup. So if you're wanting to generally play it safe, this is a good route. This is the fastest route for anyone who's using either Riki version 1, BTR, or has a scroll. Be careful with this one. You may need to adjust your route even if you do have one of those setups that allows you to survive. You can end up taking damage at those shurikens that you just saw, and it can take you out. Also, if you break the lanterns, you will take damage. Staying towards the top here is generally the easiest and safest portion of this map. you'll want to be very careful with not dropping down if you're not confident in how to navigate. It's not too bad once you learn it, but if you're not sure, go ahead and take this top route. Take care of dodging this bamboo. You don't need to quick dash if you just want to run while you're going down. That's generally safer. You want to take care to jump over the bamboo as you're going up. And then here I just go ahead and take the top route. So I just go all the way up. And then once I get to the top here, I don't take the top portal anymore. I take the second portal. That way I dash to the right instead of going down. If you do take that top one, you will go down. Then you quick dash after you grab the card and go to the end. Alright, here we'll go kind of a mid path here, so you'll see I go across, I do drop down, get the card, and then I go back up. Be careful, you can hit the wall and end up needing to relay or just end up dying altogether. You see I drop down and dash here, take the portals to keep going, and then I just drop down and dash to the right. And this time we won't go all the way up, we'll only go up once. And then we'll just go to the right. And this is just to show you what's on this route. This time we're going to stick to the bottom, so we're going to drop all the way down just to show what's there. Should feel pretty similar to what you saw before. You have to grab that last portal or else you end up relaying or dying. Again, dropping all the way down. You'll see that it's just basically a big trap down there, so you don't generally want to take this route. And the rest of this should look pretty much the same. The main difference here for the portals on this last section is that I like to use this if I'm behind, and then I just go up just to this first set and I just go straight across. This is the fastest way to get through. And this is pretty close to my ideal route. So you see I drop down, I do try to go back up. I missed one of the portals, but you can see you can get a pretty quick path there. I drop down a layer. You've seen me take this path on what I showed before. I like to get across here. This is generally the fastest way to do this. And then you see I have Vermilion Blade, so I use that to get a little bit of speed. I could use my Wind Dash. In this case, this is a replay from one of my arena playthroughs, so I'm not using it because I like to use it with my weapon on the boss, so I'm saving it. And so I do pretty good on fish, and I get the card, and all of that gave me a good enough lead so that I could take first. Similar to Dark Prison, you'll see that there are 3 routes that you can take. Most people don't generally refer to these as 1, 2, and 3 the same way they do there. You can feel free to do the same if you do prefer to do that here and just refer to the top as 1, middle as 2, and bottom as 3. One thing that I'm just trying to make sure you're aware of is what kind of shows up on each, and then I'll go through a couple of ideal routes that I like to use depending on what strategy I'm using when I'm playing with my teams. Alright, so this route is the one that I like to take if I'm running a debuff setup to get my enemies tripped up, or if I want to just go for a few extra fish. So you can see here, I get the bags of fish drop down when I get to 2, down to 3. And then I do the same thing again here to get the card and then drop down to 3. And you see I'm not dashing at all. So I go up to 2, try to get as many of those fish as possible. Once it pops, then I go ahead and dash. This route's more about speed, so I generally tend to stay toward the bottom. So you see that you kind of got to jump between the portals for 1 and 2. It can get you tripped up, so this will take a little practice if you're not used to having to jump through tight spaces like that. See, I have to drop down because I made a mistake there. And then I go to the top for the last one to grab the bags of fish up there, since my shield won't pop before I get to the middle. Alright, so starting out here, you're gonna navigate through these ravens, try to take as little damage as you can. If you have a weapon ready, you can use it to get some fish. Also good for your Blade Master passive if you're carrying it, to help you get a little bit of extra damage ready. You see I go up and take the kite. This is the safer route of the 2 routes that you have here. Good for no recovery battlefield effect. And then you'll just want to dodge the axes that are swinging here. You see I use my weapon here to go ahead and get through it. Oni bosses tend to take a little bit more time, kind of like sword bosses, to appear and be ready to attack, so I didn't have any issue with doing that. The 20 seconds you see aren't a big deal. Alright, so here you see I go down, taking care to try to dodge through the axes. You're a little more prone to taking damage this way, so if you're low on health, you may want to take the top route, but I prefer this since it's a little bit faster. And same drill as last time for navigating the axes, you just get to the end. And that gets us through all the hard and dangerous maps, so feel free to just revisit, look through the sections, kind of mix and match what you're seeing, make something up that works for your playstyle. This is generally what works for me. I've seen it works for some other folks too. So just play around, make something unique, make it yours, and make sure you have fun with it. Thanks for checking this out, and don't forget to comment and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more content like it, or if you're looking for something else. And share it with your friends if you think that they're gonna get some help from it too. So it's been fun, and I'll catch you on the flip side.